So the Trek Powerfly FS4 with a 625 mAh battery. I've owned this bike for about a year now, and I got it originally just to sort of go up and down the old mining tracks and the fire roads and all this sort of stuff. So I've had it long enough now to know what its pitfalls are and what its plus points are as well. So it was at the cheaper end of the market. I think when I bought it, it was about £4,500 or something, but that was about 2022, that sort of time. And initially, it's not a bad spec really, I don't suppose. So you've got the Shimano Dior derailleur at the back. There's only 10 gears on this, but they seem adequate, they seem alright. You know, you can get a good range from, you know, doing sort of a comfortable 20 miles an hour down to climbing fairly steep hills. It's no hill climbing bike, but it certainly can manage going off-piste, if you like. So the suspension's quite limited, like I was saying before. So on terrain such as this, it absolutely rattles you. Very little give in it. But when you come to do more sort of downhill stuff, or you know, even just pull a wheelie, it's quite easy to bottom the suspension out. To this thin bit here. Yeah, so really the suspension does let this bike down. It's better than a hardtail, but it is just the first rung on the ladder. It's certainly nothing to shout about. It takes the sharpness of some of the big bumps. That's about as much praise I can give it, really. The other thing is battery life. People always ask about battery life on these EMTBs. How far can you get on 625 watt hour battery? So with this, I've now used just under half a battery, half of the capacity of the battery. And I've been out this morning and I've done about 22 miles, and then to do this video here, it's about 6 miles. So I managed to do that on about half of the capacity. So when you fully charge it, it normally says about 80 miles I think on eco mode, and 18 miles on EMTB mode. Obviously turbo's less again, but very much depends on what the terrain's like. So you know, if you just sort of like this terrain here, moderately flat, you'll get a good range. You know, I think the battery will see out the day type of thing. I imagine, I mean, don't quote me numbers, but I imagine you'd be able to get 30 to 40 miles easily on this sort of terrain. If you go through Hamsterley or somewhere and there's a lot of uphill sections, you can probably knock about 20 miles off that. So again, I'm only guessing from experience, but if you're using the MTB mode, a place like Hamsterley, I would reckon on about 18-20 miles, that sort of figure. In reality, it's plenty. You get a day's riding out of it. You're not really looking at it too much. It does the job. It's enough. I wouldn't say no too big a battery, obviously, but 625, it's all right. It's plenty. So it does come with a dropper post as standard, which is actually lovely. If you've never had a dropper post before, you definitely need one. Really cracking for going down hills and what have you. Just puts it down out the way. Again, I wish it would go a little bit further, but for this price point, it was all right. Problems I've had with it, well, I have actually buckled the wheels twice, so that was getting a bit too excited going down some of the downhill slopes. So the rims presumably aren't the strongest. It does come with the XR3 tyres, which seem adequate, seem all right. You know, you get a fair return of speed. It's definitely got less rolling resistance than some of the XR4s and 5s. So friends with different spec tyres, I noticed going down hills and stuff, I always gather a lot more speed than what they can on their bikes. Other problems, not a lot really. Everything's been very reliable apart from the free hub at the back. I once rode through a bog and that filled up with muck. You can't clean it out, it's a sealed unit, so I was told by the shop, so that cost me £100 for a new free hub to be fitted. In hindsight, I could probably have had it done under warranty perhaps, but that did let me down. The other thing that I like about the bike is actually how quiet it is. So you've got two sets of balls, one in the free hub, one in the motor. The balls in the motor are quite noisy, clicky. In the free hub, they're nearly perfectly silent. So when that's spinning, yeah, you can hear the grass and things catch on the wheel, but it's actually pretty quiet. So it doesn't annoy the neighbours or anything like that if you're sort of going through towns and what have you. The other thing is the motor. It's the Bosch CX, Performance CX, absolutely cracker piece of kit. It comes with the standard basic controller, which it does the job, it's alright. But the power from the Bosch motor is fantastic, so come across hills, absolutely no problem. As long as you keep the cadence going, you'll get straight up the hill without a bother. Plenty of reviews on the internet about the Bosch CX system, and they're all correct. You know, it is a very, very powerful piece of kit. The other thing I've added is Montrager front mudguard, because when it's standard, it comes out the front mudguard, completely covers the battery and everything like that in muck. Also throws it up into your face, so it really is an essential. I think it's about £6 from the Trek website, so nice bit of kit. You know, it's only thin plastic, but it does the job absolutely perfectly. You tie wrap it on, so it's quite basic the way it fits, but dead easy, dead straightforward. And actually the brakes are pretty good. Again, they're only basic, but only single potters and stuff. Apart from the noise, it does make a horrendous noise when you're braking. Very sort of clicky, offensive noise, but they do stop you well. You know, going down some of the trails and things, absolutely no bother when it comes to stopping. Friends with sort of twin pots and stuff, yes, they can pull sort of stoppies and things like that, which perhaps I can't, but they do the job. They're alright. From this, again, from the price point of view, they're not bad. So the big question, do I enjoy riding it, and would I get another one? I do enjoy riding it. I probably wouldn't get another one because of the limited suspension travel and the sort of riding that I'm doing. If you're just going up and down fire roads, on the roads, this sort of thing, with the occasional bit of downhill type stuff, it's probably alright. But you can see the sort of ground, if we sort of look around here, this is sort of the type of land that I'm sort of riding over and what have you. It's just sort of all around where we live. So the very sort of old public footpaths and things, long since overgrown and everything, so there are a lot of hidden big bumps and all this sort of stuff, and you can get a fair old turn of speed going down some of the hills and things. And I just wish it had a little bit more travel on the suspension, because if I look at where the seals are going, you can see they're right up here. They're going right up to the top of the fork stanchions, and the poor old rear suspension, that's getting the hiding of its life. There is an O-ring on that thing to tell what the travel is, and that's always racked right up the top. I've pumped it up, put plenty of pressure in there. I'm at the point now that there's hardly any give in the back, but yet I still bottom it out. So if I sit on it, you'll see, you can see there's not a lot of give in the rear suspension, so it is pumped up quite hard, but it's still not up to the job. So probably need to stop eating so many pies and all the rest of it, but I could definitely do with more suspension on the rear. Other than that, like I say, the tyres are good. I've had no real issues with anything other than the time that the free up packed in. Yeah, it's not a bad bike. It's not a bad bike. So I hope you found this short review useful. Hopefully it'll help you making a decision whether the Powerfly FS4 is going to be the right bike for you. I can see it would suit a lot of people. It is marketed as an all-rounder, and that is what it is. It's not brilliant at anything in particular, but it is good at doing most things. So don't buy it for going downhill or doing big jumps or anything like that. But if you're just pottering around, with the occasional sort of bit of excitement, then yeah, it's up to the job. So yep, thumbs up, happy days. Oops. Bumpy out like this. don't know if you can hear the brakes there, that noise here. It does get irritating.